Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. My name is Madeline Garcia. I'm with Minnesota Center for Book Arts and I am the lead teaching artist there. For those of you that don't know or are new to Minnesota Center for Book Arts, it's an arts nonprofit located in downtown Minneapolis, and it's been around since 1985. We focus on storytelling and engagement with book arts through a variety of ways. We have exhibitions, we provide artist support, access to supplies and equipment, and through educational programs. So that's kids classes, adults classes, and family classes. We do paper making, printmaking, paper marbling, letterpress, and what did I miss? Printmaking. If you go to our website, mnbookarts.org, you can see a list of all those classes. There's quite a variety. And so normally my role as lead teaching artist is to prepare all the materials for kids' classes and then teach those classes along with other instructors. It is a wonderful time. All the time, kids are coming in from field trips from all over the Twin Cities and outside and learning about book arts and what it means. So I'm very thankful for that. I miss teaching and I miss kids, and that's why I'm making these live videos, because I'm committed to book arts and creativity and community right now, because I think we all need it. So I'm super passionate about book arts. Hopefully you'll feel similarly. I'm really excited about the series. This is the first installment, and we're going to be learning how to make a hidden page book today. So let me just show an example. This is a hidden page. It's a pretty simple form. It's similar to an accordion book. However, when you bring it together, there's a secret page inside, so that is really exciting. And you'll need a few supplies for this. First most is a pair of scissors and a pencil. Awesome. And then a glue stick and a bone folder. A bone folder is a bookmaker's go-to tool. I always carry one on me. They're super versatile. You can use them for scoring and creasing and folding, which we'll do so today. And the way you'll want to hold it is with 4 fingers on one side and your thumb on the other side, almost like you're combing, and you'll apply it to the paper just like that. If you're new and you don't have a bone folder yet, you could also use the side of a ruler or possibly a popsicle stick. And then as far as supplies go for the book, you'll need one 4 1/4 by 11 sheet of paper, and this is actually half of an 8 1/2 by 11 copy size paper. For this series, I've tried to keep all of the paper sizes smaller than 8 1/2 by 11, just based on what I think people have at home. Not everyone has like a closet full of paper like I do, which is probably a good thing. But so here's the first sheet of paper you'll need, and then you'll need two 11/16 by 4 1/4 pieces of paper, and these are going to be the hidden page inserts. You also will need 2 covers, and these are 3 by 4 1/2 inches. These are optional, but I really recommend covers. If you think about a hardcover book that you have or maybe get from the library, the covers will always be a little bit bigger, and that's to protect the pages and the inside of the book. So I think they're really important, and they make a lifetime of a book extend. Awesome. So the way I will hold this class is that I'll do a demonstration and explain what I'm doing, and you can watch and ask questions, and then I'll pass it over to you, and you can take your turn following. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time. After the live stream is done, I will put the video on our Facebook page so it can be accessed again and shared. Awesome. So we'll start with this strip, which is the 4 1/4 by 11" sheet of paper. And before we fold, I want to share my folding method and the method we use at the Minnesota Center for Book Arts. It's called the hold and fold method. I'll always be holding the piece of paper down with one hand while I'm folding. And that is so that the paper stays in one place and it doesn't move. It just gives you maximum precision. A lot of folks like to hold the paper up like this to match the corners, but as soon as you set it down, the paper shifts and it's less precise. So I'm holding one side down and the other side I'm curling over and making sure that the corners meet and are resting right on top of each other. From there, I'm going to slide my finger over to the crease. And I'm going to crease starting in the center, just using my fingers. And then I'm going to come back in with the bone folder. I'm going to fold this about 2 times. You won't want to use your bone folder more than that, or the paper fibers will start to break down. Awesome. So go ahead and do that. You're just folding this piece of paper in half, and afterwards it'll look something like this. Wonderful. You'll notice afterwards that you'll have a side with a folded edge and then a side with 2 loose sheets of paper. The next thing you'll do is grab the top sheet, the side of 2 sheets of paper. You're kind of just grabbing the top cover of a book. It's like you're peeking into the book. And you're going to take that and fold it in half and spend the time to line up all of those corners again. You're then going to slide your finger over and make a crease, and then use that handy bone folder. Afterwards, you'll have something that looks like this. So go ahead and do that. The next step is the easiest step of this whole book. We're just going to flip it over. Awesome. And then once again, we'll find the side that has not been folded. It'll just be 1 sheet of paper, and we can fold that in half. Again, taking our time to line up the corners, creasing with our finger, and then using the bone folder. Once you've done that, you'll have something that looks like this. This is an M fold. It's a central fold in bookmaking. It's used all the time, and it's super helpful. So I can hold this up. This is great. So right now it's set up like an M, but go ahead and flip it over so that it is like a traffic cone or a witch's hat. The next thing that we'll do is design the pattern of our hidden pages. So you can see in my example here that I just designed 2 straight lines to cut across. Go ahead and grab a pencil. I'm going to use a pen because I want it to be easier for you to see. I'm going to grab this book by the top of the witch's hat and just set that down. And then I'm going to make 2 dots on the center fold. And I have 1 dot here and 1 here, and they're each about 1/3 of the way down. Wonderful. And so those thoughts are kind of dividing this panel into thirds. From there, I'm going to draw my lines, which will be where I'll cut. You could do curvy or straight lines for this. You could do them at slight angles. However, I recommend not doing anything too decorative because you'll have to cut it out. And then also, when you're sliding in your hidden pages, sometimes the pages will get stuck if it's a really decorative design. So I'm going to do 2 curved lines. And again, this is just on of the M fold. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut on those lines and stop when I get to the center fold here. So take your time when you're cutting. I like to bring the paper all the way down into my scissors instead of just using the tips of my scissors because I find I have a lot more control that way. So I've cut my pattern all the way to the center fold here, and it looks something like this. Yours might look a little bit different based on what design you chose and drew and cut on your hidden page book. Afterwards, you should be able to open it up and it'll look something like this. These are the slats that we are going to weave our hidden page into. This book is really similar to a Jacob's Ladder toy, if you played with one of those before. Wonderful. And at this point, we can get out our 2 hidden page inserts. These are 2 11/16 by 4 1/4. I know that's a really specific measurement there, but it's just smaller than one of these panels. So once we're here, we're actually going to weave these hidden pages into our book. So we can start by going over and under and back over, and it'll look something like this. And then on the other section, we'll do the opposite. So under and over. Should actually look at what I'm doing. This is kind of like when you're reading a book to a kid and you can't see the text. Anyway, it'll look something like this, and you should be able to bring yours together and open it up to find a hidden page there. This looks awesome. Hopefully you also chose fun colored paper, but I understand not everyone has a big selection right now. So the next thing we'll do is to add the covers. So now is a great time to use some scrap paper. I normally use pages that I've ripped out of magazines after I've read them, but basically just scrap paper that you can use when you're gluing so that you don't get glue on your table or your book. That would be terrible. So to glue the covers on, I'm just going to close the book up and realize this isn't good because this is another purple sheet. You'll just slide this under that top cover here, and you can get out your glue stick. Basically, I'm protecting the rest of the book from getting glued on. So you'll just run your glue all on one of the top outsides of the book, and you want to make sure you get those covers. You can then take your waste sheet and fold it in half so that you're trapping the glue in there and you're not smearing glue on your table as you're moving your book around. And then you'll actually want to hold your book in the center just like this and place it onto the cover so that you have the same amount of border around your book. So we're centering the book into the cover, and then you can actually use your waste sheet, your bone folder, to adhere your book to the cover just by running it along your book a few times. Wonderful. And then you do the same thing on the other side, putting a waste sheet under that top piece of paper of the book, and you're protecting the rest of the book from getting glue. And then you'll take your glue stick again, not forgetting the corners. The whole sheet should look shiny with glue. I'm gonna remove my waste sheet and do something like that. And you'll take your book and once again center it on the covers. When you're putting on the second cover, it's important that all of your corners are lining up. I'm going to open this up and bone fold it in. It'll be a little bit delicate as the glue is still drying, but you should have something that looks just like this. So now that we've made the book structure, we can think about the content, and that's just what's inside of the book. Because of these colors, I was thinking I could do something with a PB and J. Maybe these are the pieces of bread And inside the peanut butter and jelly, there's some hidden fruit, or maybe a little M&M is in there, or a whole peanut. There's lots of things that I could do with this, but I do think because this book is a hidden page, things that are hidden or secretive or not in plain sight work really well for content because it pairs with the form of the book. I'm not going to forget to clap my glue stick. I do want to show you a few examples that we have on hand of hidden page books, and hopefully this will get you excited about filling the pages of yours. So here's one of the same size. It says Under the Ice, and I made this one. And it looks like this, and it says, all winter I wonder what's happening under the ice. Are the fish frozen? Is the water still moving? And then if you bring it together to reveal that hidden page, you'll see some fish and water in there. Gosh, that is so fun. This never gets old. And then I have a few examples with bigger size hidden pages. And all of these examples are made by instructors or previous instructors at the Book Arts Center just to show students examples and inspire them. So this one is called On the Road. And it shows a road here with cars, and if you bring it together, you see some bicycles in there. I also made this one. I really love to use cut paper to decorate my books, but you could certainly just use colored pencils or markers and draw right on them. You could print stuff out. The options are endless. Here is another example. This one is called Secret Garden, and it looks like this. And if you bring it together, we have a hidden page here. So your book definitely doesn't need to have text. It could be a picture book. That is up to you. I have another one here, and this one is called My Noisy Neighbor. This is a book I made, and then I cut out all of the squares and rectangles, the shape of the book to be a house shape. So this is something that you do. Once you make your hidden page, you could definitely personalize it. So in this book, it says, my noisy neighbor keeps me up all night with all types of strange sounds and noises. Sometimes I put a cup to the wall and listen, trying to imagine what's happening over there. So I have this cut paper image of me if I had a much fancier house. And then inside, this fun little scene of people bowling and dancing and even making pizza here. It's pretty silly. I have one last example, and this one is called Plant Something. And this is a hidden page book, but it is also an accordion book with some origami flowers in here. It says, find a pile of dirt, dig a hole, plant a seed, water it more, and pick them. And then if I open it up to this front page here, I can bring these two together to reveal a hidden page that says, look for treasures. So hopefully this got you inspired. Please share with us online the books that you're making. We're going to use the hashtag homebound edition. So you're homebound, but we're also all participating together in making this edition. And that's just a book and an art term that means a batch of books all made together. So thank you so much for listening and folding along. I do want to preview the book that I'm going to be making next week, and that is a pamphlet book. It is a sewn journal, and it is super great for sketchbooks and notebooks and stories. This series is free and all are welcome, so if you're able to donate right now, please consider purchasing a gift card or donating, and you can do that on our website. I'm going to post this video to our page afterwards, so feel free to share it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm Madeline Garcia. See you next week, same time.